This time of year, when everything slowly starts to grow again and the scent of spring blossoms fills the air, there actually is not much out there yet to pick and turn into a nice sweet springtime treat. Cherries, raspberries, blackcurrants, figs and apples are only just thinking about pushing their flower buds out. So traditionally, people have baked cakes with dried fruit or nuts during this hungry season. We have beautiful walnut trees here on our land, and one of these days they will produce a crop to last us into March, hopefully. But in the meantime, they still have much growing to do. Luckily, these days we are not relying on last year's crop for anything and can just go to the shop. The recipe I want to show you today reminds me very much of springtime because when I grew up in Germany and lived at the Swiss border, my parents would take me and my brother into the Alps for an Easter skiing holiday every year. We often went to a place called Engadine in the Graubünden canton of eastern Switzerland, where this local delicacy formed a staple diet for our daily afternoon teas. My mum has her very own version of this recipe and passed it on to me. You can tell it's been well used and handled with floury hands and buttery fingers, and today I want to share it with you. This is a rich tart with a sweet, sticky walnut filling, and you begin with making the pastry. Put flour, sugar and salt into a bowl. Add 1 egg. I use one of our duck eggs, perfect for a rich, soft pastry. It has such a wonderful big yolk. Then add the butter in small cubes, and for a special twist, add some grated lemon peel. Mix everything with your hands until you get a soft, smooth ball of pastry. While the pastry is resting for half an hour or so, chop or break the walnuts into small pieces. An interesting fact about this recipe is that the Engadine region is far too cold for walnut trees to bear fruit. So how did the local bakers come up with a recipe like this? The story goes that locals who had to migrate to Italy and France for work brought this recipe and the ingredients, one would assume, back with them from regions abundant with walnuts. Next, prepare the caramel mixture. One thing we are rich in is our own honey, so I add a big fat dollop of it to the sugar for the caramel to add extra flavour. Heat the sugar and honey very slowly at low temperature, and it should melt within a few minutes. Keep on stirring as this mixture can burn easily. When the mixture is runny, remove from the heat and add the fresh cream carefully, stirring all the time. If there are lumps in your mix at this stage, return to the heat and carefully stir until it is a smooth caramel sauce. Then add the walnuts and set aside to cool. Roll out the ball of pastry and use the cake tin as a template to cut out the base for the tart. I grease the tin heavily before lining it so that the pastry won't stick. Then use some of the remaining pastry to form the sides of the tart. Next, fill the caramel nut mix into the tin and level it. Now we want to decorate the top of the tart. Traditionally, the tart is covered with a disc of pastry, but I like the way my mum used to decorate the top. She cut out thin stripes of pastry and made a kind of grid so that you can still see the nice golden brown filling. It is up to you which method you prefer, they both work. Then brush with egg so that the pastry will turn golden yellow in the oven. The cake is baked when it looks deep golden all the way. I made some Easter bunny cookies out of the leftover pastry just to add a springtime touch to it all. Let the tart cool completely before serving. The filling will only set fully once it is cooled down. And then nothing is stopping you from serving this delicious, super sweet and rich treat to your loved ones wherever they are.
I'm sure you need a piece of cake.
Thank you very much. Thanks very much, Sandra.
Go on, say it. Say it.
Oh, these are really lovely. Should I say yum yum yum?
Num,
They are. Num
Num,
num
num.
num. Num num num. Num num num.